Hello and welcome to today's episode of Scrapnik TV. Today I'm going to be talking about some of the most commonly used shortcuts that work in both Photoshop and Photoshop Elements. The ones that I'm going to show you today and that are listed in the blog post work the same for both. Not all shortcuts are that way, but the ones that I'm sharing will work for both. So I will be using parts of my new mini that's out today. It's free in my resource library. It's called Positive Patty, kind of a opposite take on yesterday's kit, which was Negative Nancy. Both of those are available in my resource library at thedigicrafter.com. Okay, so let's jump in. I have a paper open here. And the first one that I'm going to talk about is the hand tool. And to illustrate this, I'm going to open up an element. Let's just do this little camera. Okay, so right now I can move this camera because I have the move tool, which is V. But if I want to move so if I click H for the hand tool, notice how it changed this to a hand. Now I can't move anything. But if I click on the space bar, that's right. So in order to illustrate this, I need to zoom in, which I click by doing Command and the plus key. And Command and the minus key move it out. Okay, so let's say that we're really zoomed in. When we have the hand tool, we can move our page. So we don't move any of the elements on it. We're just moving it to look closer. And V goes back to this to where we can move the elements around. So we'll go out just a little bit more. H is the hand tool to move your whole screen. Nothing's actually moving on your layout, but it just moves what you're able to see in front of you. And V is the move tool to move things. So those are the first two items. Next is T for text. Super easy to remember. Text tool, you click on it and then you click anywhere and you can start typing. I believe, well, there it is. Okay, so that's how we get the text tool, and we can do V. Whoops. Then we need to click up here so we can get out of and take that tool off, and I'm going to delete that. But T is the text tool, and once you click somewhere, that activates it, and so then you have to use one of these to deactivate it. Okay, next is the Lasso Tool, and that's really easy with the L. And what the Lasso Tool does is lets you draw things around an item and put the marching ants. Now, if you notice over here, we've got several different options. So the Lasso Tool, back here. The straight Lasso Tool, you just draw it around. We're going to deselect that. So if we click Lasso, you can click up here to see which one it's on. The default usually is just the straight lasso, but if you've left it on one of the others, it will go to that. So that's the Lasso tool, and that's really good if you are trying to extract part of a photo. You want to cut off different things. That's what you'd use the Lasso tool for. Next is the Marquee Tool. And that's an M, and that's just to draw the marching ants shape around something. And you can go up and do the different options if you want round or whatever. So that's the Marquee Tool, and that's an M. Next one we're going to do is E for eraser. And we actually need to rasterize this. If I wanted to erase this, I could. And I'll go backwards. So that's just a simple E. So we go V to move the item, E to erase it. Okay, Now, the next one we're going to do is custom shape, and that's a U. And it will just do whatever you last used in the shapes, but you can come up and draw a shape with the U, and you can change them up there. So that's kind of a cool one. Harder to remember because U for custom shapes, I'm not really sure. I think because the S and the C and those things were already used, but just think of U for custom. Okay, the next one is crop. And that I'm going to have a photo here. If you click C, it automatically puts the crop things in place, and you can move it around, or you can draw it around and then click OK if that's what you're wanting to do. So C is for crop. And then the last ones we're going to do is to select, copy, and paste. So for example, if I have this photo, if I do Command or Control A, it puts the marching ants around the whole photo, and that means it's selected it. And then Command or Control C to copy it. And then I come over and I'm just going to zoom out. Command or Control V, and it will paste my photo. And there we go. Those are the main tools that work in both Photoshop and Photoshop Elements. They will be in the post, on the blog post, written out so that you can refer to them whenever you want. Thank you for joining me.